like, the personality was just crazy because she's marketing it to the parents like, yo, you bringing your kids here, you getting ready to pay for your kid to go to school for 4 years. This is where you could be at with real estate within 4 years. And it was just so crazy. So
nobody own nothing. Everybody paying rent. The only thing we own is clothes and shoes. Most people don't even own cars that have driver's licenses.
Alright, welcome back to Talking Business Over Brunch. We got Sasha, the infamous Sasha, the realtor. And it's crazy because, so let me tell you how I met Sasha. I was at Clark doing admittance day for the 2020 whatever class, this past class coming up, and she was at, they had like a, what was it called? Like a,
we was doing like a little mini business expo.
A mini business expo. That's exactly what it was. Well, they were doing a mini business expo, and I was there just greeting Clark students and, you know, welcoming them to CAU. And Sasha popped out. You know, most of the vendors there were selling clothes and they were selling stuff. Sasha was there with her real estate table. That was the craziest thing that I had ever seen, right? And then she was like, the personality was just crazy because she's marketing it to the parents like, yo, you bringing your kids here, you getting ready to pay for your kid to go to school for 4 years. This is where you could be at with real estate within 4 years. And it was just so crazy. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the real estate portion of how you got there. What like, cause that was crazy.
So I would say it started with me moving to Georgia and being scared when I moved here. And I don't tell the story often, but I do tell the story to my clients so they know that I'm someone that they could trust. I moved here in 2012 permanently, but I lived here from 97 on, back and forth between New York and Georgia. But 2012, I was like, I'm coming down here, I'm not going back home. So I come down here, I find me a spot, and I'm like, okay, they took my rent to own. I'm like, okay, good, I'm about to own my first property. And I'm paying on it for 2 years straight, never missed a payment, thinking I'm paying towards ownership. One day I come home from work and the sheriff is at my door talking about they auctioning off the property. I'm like, nah, y'all at the wrong place. And they like, no, we at the right place. This is your address. And I'm like, yeah, but I got receipts. I've been paying this every month and I ain't never missed a payment. They're like, well, sorry, the owners haven't paid taxes in about 6 years and we're confiscating it from the county and it's going up for auction. So I'm devastated. I got 5 kids to take care of. I'm freaking devastated. I'm like, what? So that was my motivation to learn real estate, because where I come from, people pass down apartments. They don't pass down wealth. So when you think about an apartment being passed down, if your grandma stayed in that apartment for 30 years and she was paying $500 rent for 30 years, right? 5 times 3 is 15. That's over $1,500,000 on one apartment, right? Then she passed it down to her daughter and she paying for 30 years. Then she passed it down to her daughter and now she paying it with the plan of paying it for 30 to 60 years. And nobody owns nothing. Nobody got no store. Nobody got no nothing. Nobody own nothing. Everybody paying rent. The only thing we own is clothes and shoes. Most people don't even own cars that have driver's licenses. So it made me realize I didn't have anyone in the family to go to teach me real estate. I didn't have anyone in the family to consult me, to show me how to avoid these scams, how to not end up in this. So that's what pushed me into real estate. By the time I got to King, we was at Clark and I was thinking, okay, I got to spend my marketing, because yes, I sell houses, I sell townhomes, I sell investment properties, duplexes, triplexes, and so have you. But the mindset of our people is not about owning, it's about renting. And even recently I went viral on Instagram and a lot of the comments are people saying, oh, you can't own a home in your 20s. That'll never happen. That's impossible. And it's not. But it's the mindset and the concept of, oh, the only thing we can do is rent. Well, when you renting, you are paying someone else's mortgage because someone else owns that property. So I had to change the mindset and I had to change my campaign, and I realized that These parents are bringing their students here for 4 years. For 4 years, they're paying $4,000 every semester, which is $8,000 a year just to stay on campus. That's not including the rest of the fees to go to the college. That's just the dorm fees. So if you're paying $8,000 to $12,000 a year for your student to stay on campus for 4 or 5 months, you could be owning a property for that same amount and teaching your student how to run a business, be a landlord, and generate income from other students whose parents are not in those positions to help them to purchase, that are also going to pay rent, because a lot of students after their first year, they're looking for off-campus housing and it's expensive. So it's also a way to kind of solve our housing crisis by educating parents that you can help be a part of this housing crisis too, and be a solution to it if you invest in the community and buy properties that students can rent from you or rent from your student to be able to make a profit, as well as allow people to have a place to stay in the duration of their education.
That's crazy. I would have never thought of that. Like, for real.
That's
like,
opportunist for real, right?
you know the type of business mind you gotta have to be like, yo, you gonna take your kid and you gonna pay $4,000 a year for them to live while they go to school, when you could be taking, a semester, and you could be taking that and really like getting 3 other roommates. You could buy a 4 or 5 bedroom house, and now this person got 3, 4 roommates. You making
your money.
4, 8, $12,000 with just 3 roommates for every semester.
Sheesh. Do you know how crazy that is? And they got more freedom than they do on campus, so they already going for gold regardless. That's a mindset that, yo, I would have never thought of that. I'm be honest with you.
That was $1 million worth of game right there. Because baby, you have what?
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it was just one of those moments where I was like, how can I help? Because when the housing crisis happened and I first got to Clark, you know, people was looking at me like I was crazy. Like, what is this older lady doing? Like, why is she not at DeVry or AIU or something? Why is she here at a HBCU? But it was my dream. And when COVID happened, if you didn't learn nothing else from COVID, you should have learned to follow your dreams. Life is short.
Right.
And so the opportunity came and it presented itself. And as a grown woman over 25, I was able to stay on campus in the dorm and get that experience. And that's how I learned. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is not making no sense. You mean to tell me when I hit this drop down, I'm paying $4,000 or $5,000 a semester. I'm only here 4 months. I got to move in the summertime and come back and pay another $4,000. Figure out where I'm staying for the summer if I'm not staying at an internship that's going to provide me housing, and do this all over again for 3 more years? Nah.
It's like you paying for housing $200 a day, because $4,000 a month. That's $1,000 a week.
No, it's for the semester.
Okay.
So it's $4,000 to $5,000 for the semester.
Okay,
the
gotcha.
semester. So like this semester is fall semester, right? School starts in August and ends second week of December because you got Christmas and everything, right?
Yeah.
And then if you take out Thanksgiving, you really only got 3.5, almost 4 months of school for this. So it's almost like $1,000 a month.
But yeah.
Right. And right now, 1 bedrooms is $1,500 a month. Right? Mm-hmm. So if students is paying that, I sold a house in May to a father who understood the concept of generational wealth. And so him and I discussed it. And so what we did is we went and I helped them get a townhome not too far from school, about 20 minutes out, no traffic. And his student was able to stay in 1 room and rent out the other 2 rooms. So if he rented out the other 2 rooms at $1,300 or $1,200 instead of the $1,500, that's $2,400. That's helping him save. So he got $2,400 coming in income, and it was a brand new construction. It was only $2,300 a month with everything included, not including the utilities, but like all the fees together, $2,300. So just off of the 2 roommates, the mortgage is paid.
Plus the utilities,
so really
that come with it.
His kid is staying
washer,
free,
dryer, yeah, all of that. Washer, dryer, stove. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Then you can Save more
You
money
don't
with food because you buy your food all in one bunch, and yeah, that's smart. That's beyond smart. Like,
Man,
that's crazy.
But
that's
do you
brilliant.
know how many people would make money if they had the right mindset in those spaces? Right? Even when I was in undergrad, I never was a stay on campus student. I never stayed on campus. I was, like you, a non-traditional student. I graduated my undergrad when I was 26 or 27. And usually you graduate when you're like 25 or something like that, or 24, something like that. But whatever it is, I was a non-traditional student, so I never stayed on campus. But I had a couple friends, they stayed on campus, but then they all wanted to move off campus because campus is not as much freedom, right? There's a lot of rules and restrictions, and so what they did was they went and stayed in a student housing building, like a complex. And what they did was, how they had this building set up was, it's a 4-bedroom apartment, so they all share a kitchen, but they all have their own rooms and their own bathrooms within those rooms, right? And so they were charging these people $900 a month plus another like $100 a month for parking. So they're paying $1,000 a month. 4-bedroom, but it's the same concept. But imagine they had a building of this. So they got 100 plus people they doing this with in a building. Obviously, I mean, I don't know, I'm not in the real estate industry, but a building, it don't cost the price of a house, but regardless of what, they still making money off students.
They're generating income off students. And see, here's the thing about our community. We have to realize that nobody's coming to save us. We got to save ourselves. And part of that is the reason I spent that campaign to talk to the parents and say, hey, listen, let's keep it 100. I don't want you to go on YouTube and TikTok and hear other students talking about it. You're new to the school. We have a housing crisis. We do not have enough housing for all the students. Okay, but you can be a solution to this problem by investing in this community and purchasing property that allows you to rent it to students, and you generate income. Your student benefits from learning how to run a business, how to become a landlord, and other students benefit by being able to have affordable housing while they're attending school. So it really was more to help and to figure out how we can help ourselves. And stop waiting for somebody else to do it, because you know the HBCU has a lot of issues. We find a way to make one, and that's why that's our motto, because we do it with or without it. But when you go to some of these other schools, they're not lacking anything.
Yep.
They have it all, and the top notch of it. And what we don't realize is we think, oh, it's just handed to them. No, the people in the community invest in their students' education. And if that means they have to invest in housing, if that means they have to invest in sports arenas and facilities, they're willing to take their money and invest in that education because they realize something that our communities don't realize. At one point in your life, the circle of life happens and you go from the caretaker to the one who needs to be cared for. And so if you're investing in who is going to take care of you when you need to be taken care for, if you invested in them to the point that they have reached their highest expectations in life, when it's your time to be taken care of, you should be living pretty nicely. Right. Because who you invested in is going to be able to afford a comfortable lifestyle to be able to take care of you in comfort. That's something that's not a conversation we have in our communities, and that's not something that's common in our communities. But when you look outside of our communities and other communities, you see 3 generations in one house. You don't just see one person doing it all by themselves. Right. And that's the concept in our community. And honestly, since I've been in real estate, I've helped more people who are families buy property than single people by themselves. Mothers, daughters, fathers, cousins, sisters, brothers, everybody put their money in, put their credit together. We going to go get this house. Everybody got enough space. We all should be able to live comfortably. We not on top of each other, and we all living good.
So let me ask you something. How does that work, right? Because you said something like putting their credit together. I've never heard of that, right? I know that when you buy a house, if it's five of us and we going in and we want to get this house, yeah, we could all put our money together, of course. But to put your credit together, how does that work?
So you cannot add each person's credit together and make one score. Each person has to be eligible credit-wise together collectively. So if me and you go into a house together and Shalia and B go into the house, all four of us gotta have a credit score over 640 to qualify. Okay. So if all four of us got a credit score over 640 and we say we going for $1 million house, the mortgage gonna be $10K a month. Between four of us, we all could put in $2,500. We good. Now we live in luxury. We live in fabulous. Ain't nobody on top of each other. You in the east wing, you in the west wing, you in the south wing, I'm in the north wing, and we straight.
Hey y'all, we getting ready to go get out. We getting ready to go to the bank and get out $2,500, and we getting ready to go get us some student housing and make some money. Everybody make a money a room.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I got room A, you got room B, you got room D. All the money that come in from that room, that's yours. But you better make sure your tenant pay their rent. Yo,
that's all.
But yo, you know something? It's crazy because people really don't think like that. Like, it don't have to be your family that you go into business with or do something like buying property with, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And buying into real estate with whoever, like, you know what I'm saying? You might not have one person or a family member that you feel is like up to par to go into business with. And so you don't want to go and you don't want to purchase real estate with them, but you might have a group of friends or whatever that you could go into real estate with, even if it's not residential real estate, it's commercial real estate. Real estate is real estate. It's going to make you the money. But you got to have people that believe in the vision. The vision is important. And if you ain't got no vision, yeah. But everybody got to be willing to take part, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna use this as an example, like this podcast right here, right? I slept on. I had thought about a podcast years ago, and I was just like, I got nervous. I asked one person, they really wasn't trying to business with me, and then I was just like, all right, whatever. I really felt like, man, this person don't believe in me, so you know what I'm saying? I ain't going. But I thought about it, and I spoke to you one night. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I know what I'm doing. I just gotta have the right thing. Now, I will say the podcast that I was thinking about was not this, and so the content probably wouldn't have been as good. But when I thought about it again, I'm like, yo, I gotta take what I know and make it work for me, right? And I know business, right? And I know a lot of business people in business. I know people who, even if they don't have like an actual business in there in corporate or they just work a job, whatever, everybody contributes something to business. It's all business at the end of the day. I don't care what it is, it's business at the end of the day. 95% of the relationships are business relationships. And so I knew that going into it. And I was like, yo, I said it to you that night. I slept on it for not even a couple days. I woke up the next morning. Did I not? And I got you back on the phone. I was like, yo, I'm doing this. The next day, what did I do? Did I not call Shalia? And I said, yo, Shalia, I need to speak to you. She said, all right, Tuesday, I'm good. I'm good to go. This probably was a Sunday night. By Tuesday morning, Shalia wrote me and was like, yo, you said you wanted to meet. What's up? I said, yo, meet me on campus. I'll be on campus in 15 minutes, whatever. She was like, all right, I'll be there in 30. I said, all right, cool. I sat with Sasha. I gave Sasha the picture. I'm like, yo, this is my plan. And she was like, that's a go. That's gonna be the one, right? I said, I bet. But she had to run, and Shalia, she had to run to go get her son, and then Shalia was taking a little minute, and I was calling Shalia. I'm like, I wanted Shalia and Sasha to meet, so I'm like, yo, I gotta figure this out. I got Shalia on the phone. Shalia pulled up. She's like, as we walking Sasha to her car, Shalia's like, I'm outside. I'm like, I bet. It works. We hopped in my car. We had 5 minutes?
Like 20 minute conversation.
Yeah, we all 20 minutes.
I'll give them 20. I don't think it was 20 minutes. I'll be honest with you, B. I don't think it was 20 minutes. I read the play to Shalia. Shalia like, yeah. She got on her phone. I swear to God, y'all, she went like this. She said, that name you going for, you know it's taken, right? I was like, nah, I ain't know that. She like, She did another 1-2 hours. She was like, nah, that ain't it either. Then I thought about it. I was like, what about talking business over brunch? Cause I think the first one was what?
Business over brunch.
Business over brunch. Business over brunch or something like that. Or business over brunch. It was the first one. And then I was like, let's try. It was something else.
Yeah, I think when we got with B, we started going over different names too.
Nah, by the time we got to B, we had the name.
Nuh-uh.
We just didn't have it locked in. And you was like, you need to make something to lock the name in so nobody else could take it.
Something like that, man.
But
no, because when y'all came to me with it, it was still you can't, cause she kept looking for names.
Yeah, come on.
So you never came up with the name until
I was standing in front of you. I was in front of you and I was like, yeah, what about if we just put talking? Because that's what we're doing anyway. So it was like talking business over brunch. And it was crazy. Like, we came up with that Tuesday. We sat, we talked about it.
Yeah. It just happened.
The next day I came back, they told me, what y'all told me to have? Some paperwork.
I told you to have the contracts immediately.
Did I not have that proposal the next day? Man.
Email.
I had
everything. The social media,
everything.
And we that was what? 3 weeks ago, maybe?
Barely.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. We'll give it 3 weeks, right? And here we are.
Yeah.
We shooting for the third time in 3 weeks. That's crazy. But when you got a team that believes and they see the vision,
that makes the difference.
It makes a difference. Because like I said, I took this podcast, not this one, a business podcast, but I took a podcast idea to somebody else and they was like, I don't know about that. Right?
That's why sometimes you can't tell everybody your ideas.
And that goes back to the conversation that I had with my friend on the phone upstairs. When she called me, she's like, what is this talking business over brunch? And I told her, she was like, yo, I'm proud of y'all.
Yeah.
She's like, y'all doing great things, right? And I said to her, how did you even know about it? And she said, I came across it on Instagram. And I said, dang, I wasn't really trying to get the people I know to come across it. I want new people to come across it. She's like, well, that's because people are haters.
Yeah, that's what your feed is, though. And people that you know is going to be on your feed. So whatever you post on whatever, or you engaging into a page, it's going to show up in their feeds. So that's also a good thing.
But
for sure,
like going back to the original thing is like that vision is important. If you got a team that believe in your vision, you can execute anything you want.
And it sounded like it just came together at a good time. Even though you had been thinking about it for years and you had the space, you had everything. It was just the timing and the people that you really need around you to make this come. How you want it, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
For real.
We couldn't get this started without you.
Right.
We couldn't get this started without Chef.
Shout out to Chef B.
Y'all don't get to see B often, but man, y'all see, but y'all don't get
the taste, the texture.
Everything. Thank you.
B makes sure I hit.
Every time.
Listen.
But nah, for real, we couldn't do this without B. B make sure our meals is on point. Shalia, if y'all can see the amount of equipment we got in here now, you know what I'm saying? Sasha, y'all see the personality, right?
Yes, that's $1 million worth of game right there.
Sasha is the one but that's the thing, like, you know what I'm saying? When you put together teams, everybody got to know how to play their part. And that's the thing, and everybody got to be willing to play whatever part until we get to where we got to go, because there might be a day where, anything could come up. Dang, we got to pivot. I gotta get up in the kitchen.
I be on FaceTime with y'all like, did you do this?
Yo, listen, send me the recipe. B, send me the recipe now. You know, I might get up in there and do it, but I can't. Send me a recipe. Shalia might not be able to make it one day, right? You know what I'm saying? We gotta be able to, like, I'm watching everything she do. I'm watching, I'm learning, because it might be a day where we gotta shoot without Shalia.
Yeah.
She can't be on site. Yeah, we might have the equipment, but we need her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Expertise.
We need her
she
touch.
does. Yeah.
Right.
And so when it comes to business, especially, it's just like, having the right people around you, having the vision, and having the people believe in the vision. Because if your team don't believe in your vision, it might get started, but ain't no way it's gonna last.
Right.
I mean, I agree to disagree, right? Because some of us, you know, our team is our family, right? That's the first team that we have, and we might not have that family support. I didn't have family support getting into real estate. I had family members who had homes that they sold without me to other people. I had family members who was right in the thick of it with me and could have helped me and chose not to. Even from the simplest of just making sure the kids were straight so I could study. Even from the simplest of just making sure, just giving me the encouragement to keep going. I really, when I decided to get on this journey, got on this journey alone with no team. I envisioned where I wanted to be, but I didn't have no one encouraging me saying, you could do this, keep going, I got you, what do you need, I'm here for you. I wish when I started real estate, I could have had a beautiful group of people like yourselves to be like, all right, what you need, Sasha, we in it. Who knows where I could be this far, but I had to get this out the mud dolo solo. And what kept me motivated and kept me going was that I had lost everything when they said they was auctioning off that house, and it was my very first piece of property. And I said, what do I got to do to never be in this position again? What do I got to do to never feel like I feel right now? Because I feel lost and hopeless. Me and my kids is homeless. We got to go to an extended stay now for something that's not even my fault. But it is my fault because I had lack of knowledge in real estate. Had I had the knowledge in real estate, that could have never happened to me. Because I would have known what to look for in the contract. I would have known what to look for in the paperwork. I would have known that rent to own is not legal. They had to change the name to lease to purchase because there was so many scams going on with it. But I say that to say that everybody's not going to have a team when they're following their dreams or there's something on their heart that they want to develop and manifest. And the team will come in the time that it's supposed to come. So just keep pushing forward. Find that space within yourself to be like, yo, I can't go to sleep because this is on my mind. I just got to keep reaching out until I get somebody that's going to say yes.
Right.
I got to keep pushing until the door opens. Because if I was waiting on a team, I would not be a realtor. I would not have the success I had today. My own family did not support me. I got a license and my own family members bought and sold without me.
Well, hold on, wait. So, real estate is one thing, right?
Sure.
That's
Sure.
that can be a solo mission, right?
Sure.
But certain things, it takes a team, right? And yeah, I might could have cooked me up some food. Yeah, I might could have set my phone up because but as far as editing this, that, and third, making sure angles are straight, certain things I just don't know because that's how I feel, and I'm not.
You're right about
real estate is something different because, yeah, I want to know real estate because that's something that's going to bring me wealth. That's something that I want to do long term, right? But the reality of it is I'm not going to go fill my brain with how to do photography, how to cook, how to edit, how to do this, because those are not. If I focus my focus on every little thing, then I'm not being great at what I want to do, right?
I agree to disagree on that again. Yeah. And the reason I agree to disagree on that again is
I'm not saying I can't learn it.
Right.
I'm not saying I can't learn it. I'm saying I don't have the capacity to make it great. If I go and I do something, yeah, I can, like I said, I can record a video, but the way that I can record versus the way that someone who is into videography and photography is going to do it, it's not going to be the same, right? And I can't, if I put my focus into the photography part, now I'm missing out on the stuff that I like that's really in my heart. Like photography is not something that's in my heart. Like I'm not one of those people that pictures don't even, I'm not even photogenic. So me doing pictures and me doing this and me doing that, it's like, yeah, I can learn it. Anybody can learn it, right?
She's very photogenic, guys. She got beautiful eyes, like perfect freaking skin. Her hair's down her back. I'm not trying to hear that. Whatever.
I'm not, but that doesn't mean I'm not photogenic.
Photogenic means you don't look good in pictures. Not
no,
that take pictures.
No,
photogenic. Good in pictures.
What's the definition? Can we pull up the definition for
No, photogenic does mean that you have the features to make a picture perfect.
I haven't seen one bad picture of you ever.
Where that laptop? Where that laptop at? Shoo, I got some.
But nah, I feel you on that part, and that's in everything, right? Even in real estate, which you're not in the expert in, you sub that out to someone who is the expert. So I'm not an inspector. I'm gonna make sure my clients get an inspector because that's their expertise. I get that, but there are some people who are gonna listen to this podcast who may have the capabilities, like myself, to do it all. I do my own editing, my own videos, my own.
Do you think? Hold on. Okay, that's cool. I never said you can't do it.
No, I know.
I'm saying that your edits and your videos or whatever, do you think that it would be as great as if you had someone who this is their job, this is their specialty, this is what they do?
With time, yes, because practice makes perfect. So when I first started in real estate and I didn't have anybody to hold my
So you think that you going
nothing.
into somebody who's been doing photography 10, 15, 20 years.
Not when you first started.
You could compete with them?
Not when you first started, but yes, I can now.
Yeah, that's just like
Yes,
me
when I
cooking.
first started,
At
no,
first,
but yes,
I
I can.
never used to take nothing. She really used to be like, why you don't take pictures? Why you don't do videos? It was like, I can't. I don't know how to. I had to learn as I go. Like, of course, I made millions of mistakes, but then I started getting it. Like, when I knew how I wanted to look, what angle I wanted, the lighting and everything, it comes with it because it's like, yeah, you need a team, but it's like when you can do it by yourself because when you want a team,
I think
you want a strong
y'all
team.
are missing what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying, but you have to understand. Yeah, I'm not gonna let that stop me. Look how long I've been cooking with y'all. Nobody beside me. I did parties of 100.
But were you getting the content?
Yes, I was getting content.
Was your content as good?
It was okay. Now it has gotten better because what I've learned from my mistakes, it wasn't the best, but it'll get by. Like people still, long as I get it out there, you can see it. At first, it was like, it doesn't matter how it looked. People still watching. They know what it is. It's not hard to tell what it is.
Right.
And when you explain what it is, whether it's a caption or like in the videos, in the reel, as long as you're explaining it, what it is, it doesn't make it hard. You don't make your job hard at all. You make it as easy as possible.
Right.
So you do what you can at the time. As long as you got
I'm
something
saying
that
work with
people
what
can
you
see.
can. Work with what you can. But the reality of it is, it's just like, I don't want to put my time and energy into a craft that's not what I want.
But if it's your thing, just like this podcast,
Like
this is how you gonna get your message out if you don't have a camera or your phone set up. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. Just as long as it's set up and people can see you and you can say what you say.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we can't do it or we can't learn. But the reality of it is just like, are you gonna put as much time and effort into the recordings of your videos as much as you gonna put into what you making your food?
Of course,
yes.
Yeah, you know,
I'm putting the same amount of energy in both. But like I was saying, when I first started, my real estate videos was trash.
But you thinking you doing something right.
They was shaky. You could hear the wind blowing in the background. They was trash. And I put it out there and I had people telling me like, oh, I see your video looks great. It was trash. When now when you look at my videos, it is top tier. It is professional. But it took time. I had to learn to make sure I had the right equipment. Editing wasn't easy. I had to ask my daughter how to edit on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not in that age of when it first came out. She had to show me, and when she got tired of showing me, I was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to keep playing with it until I get it. And by me playing with it, now I'm like, great. I got the editing part. I got the video part. It's to the point where I bought my own ring light when I go places because I don't have a team, and set my camera up and know how to hit the timer so it records when I want it to record, because I don't have someone following me and moving around with me to take my videos. And even with working on my podcast, I started to work through my brokerage on it, and they have someone who's a social media manager who comes in, does your podcast, you send him the video, he's supposed to edit it and send it back to you. I can't wait 7 days to get my video back if I plan on posting my video in 3 days. So
Right.
I need to know how to edit my own stuff and be ready, because if it's not back in the time frame I wanted to drop it or schedule it to drop, I need to be able to do it. Sometimes in business, you are all positions until you build that team up to sub those positions out.
100%. Again, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying it's not possible.
Right.
I'm saying I want to perfect my craft, right?
Right.
From whatever stance that looks like. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of things that I go into that I don't know full on what I'm getting myself into, but I do it.
Right.
And if I gotta be this person, that person, and the third, I'm gonna do it.
That's right.
I'm gonna do it because I have a vision. And I remember when I first started my nonprofit, everybody was like, I was trying to have this big event. I started the nonprofit in like October. We got incorporated in October of 2019. January or February, I was trying to do a big full-on event, like a big event, and it required a lot of footwork, a lot of legwork, a lot of input, a lot of hands, and I was doing it living in one state. I was living in Texas, and I was trying to get the event done in New York, and I was literally. They was like, that's too short of a time. You're not gonna have time, because this was the end of October. So we got November, December, January. But remember, there's holidays, there's Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, there's New Year's. So all of these different things is happening in these months, and they're like, it's the holidays coming. You're not gonna be able to get this done. People are out of work. People are doing this. People are doing that. Right? I got my event done. Packed house. I got the senators out there.
Okay.
I got politicians out there. I got the police department out. I had it all.
Okay.
And they told me it wasn't possible to get it done in them couple months because of all of these different holidays, and you live in one state and this isn't happening in another. It ain't nothing.
Anything is possible.
Anything is
possible.
Anything is possible.
Okay.
Alright, so Sasha, I want to go into something else because, like I said, I met you at Clark as a non-traditional student. Like, what is that like? You know, being a full-time entrepreneur on top of being a non-traditional student at an HBCU.
It's not easy. It's so funny, you know, my song for this year, they done brung back Brandy and remixed it. I was a wannabe Sound fan since back in the day, you know.
Sitting on top of the world?
But yeah, it's
The
not
bird
just
voice?
trying to be big, doing what I gotta do. People think that I'm just sitting on top of the world. So that's what it seems like. You know, people are like, you know, when I hear from people, they're like, oh, it seems like you're at college doing your thing, living your best life, and they don't know about the late nights that I stay up trying to finish homework before 11:59. They don't know about the stress and anxiety of being someone from a different generation who's used to paper tests and now having to do everything online. They don't know, you know, those type of things. Am I, you know, recording that and putting that on social media? No, you know, that's just the behind the scenes. But it is definitely far from easy, but I make it look good. And everything I do in my life, I make it look good. I believe you only have one time to make your first impression, so I'm gonna make it look good regardless. But it's difficult. It's not easy. I've had people tell me you shouldn't post about your education because it looks like you don't have time to do real estate. And I don't agree with that, because I feel like most of my clients are working. At the time that I'm taking these classes and enhancing my education and working on adding to my repertoire of certificates, licenses, and things, those people are working full-time jobs as well. So they're not available between 9 and 5 to go see houses anyway, unless they're retired and they're looking for a property after retirement. But if they are, you know, before retirement and after college, they are not available to look at homes between 9 and 5 anyway. So to me, it's not a conflict of interest. If they're available on the weekends and I'm available on the weekends, we shouldn't have an issue. But there are people who believe that I needed to clean up my social media, take out all of my school postings and everything about school. And I even had a comment that said I look like a party girl and a college student, and I wouldn't buy a house for me. And
the internet is a nasty place.
oh no, this was a person. This wasn't the internet. This was a person. This is somebody I knew personally.
I think people just find ways to just
break people down.
bring you down. Yeah, when people tell me,
but
like,
that's what
how you gonna clean houses, decorate houses, and cook? Because I do it all. That's what brings me joy.
But
like,
hold on.
I love to do it all.
It's crazy because I feel like those are the people that don't have nothing going.
That and they just don't feel like they just don't.
They're intimidated by
no, that and they don't know your work ethic. They just see what. Okay, she got this, that, and the third going on. She's always busy doing this. What about when I'm not busy? I could be doing this while I'm not doing this. So it's like it's just what you like and what your body can handle. It's not about what other people think you can and can't handle. It's about you. You know you. They don't. You know what I'm saying?
Now, he is a millionaire, not was. He is a millionaire who said that to me. And that's what it was. He didn't know my work ethic. So while maybe all the other agents in his office could not go to school full time, work a job, and do real estate, and take care of children, I'm multitasking and I'm not meeting the same numbers as his top producers. But when I'm done with my plan that God has for me, I'm gonna get exactly where I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And so it was to the point I've been asked, why don't you take over school for a year so you can sell more houses? Why don't you drop down to part-time so you can sell more houses? Right? And to be honest, it's hurtful. It hurts my feelings because what they don't realize is we live in two different worlds in the same country. And their world is just that freaking simple. Mm-hmm. And our world is not. Mm-hmm. I have young people who are of college age and of coming of college age. And I'm a first generation. If they don't see me do it and nobody else has done it, what is going to give them motivation to say, I can do it?
Yo, you know what's crazy? That goes back to the conversation that I had when we talked about with Kennard, right? And he was like, as a parent, you know, he can't do things. And basically, like, he gave the analogy, like, if my parent tell me to go clean my room, but his room is a mess, and he ain't doing nothing, then I'm not listening to you. Why should I listen to you? What are you doing that's gonna make me do why should I do what you're saying to do? And it makes sense. It's like leadership, mm-hmm. right? Leading by example. You can't want your children to go to college and you pushing college and you didn't go to college, or you don't even have a high school diploma, right? And don't get me wrong, I do understand from the parents' side, it's like I want my kid to be better than me, but in the same token, it's just like, what makes them want to listen to you? What if, like for me, right? My parents can't give me financial advice. Why? Right. Because what are your finances like, right? Right. So the aspirations that I have for myself and my finances don't align with what you've done. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with what you've done. It doesn't align with what I want for myself. So you're not the person that I need to listen to. Mm-hmm. Right. I need him sitting in my account. Right. Mm-hmm. You don't have that. So you're not the person that I can take. I can't take advice from you. Right? Because clearly you didn't know. You're not good with money management. And like, again, I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just not what I want for me. Mm-hmm. And I say this about anything. Mm-hmm. But it goes back to that. It goes back to that same conversation. Like, you can't tell someone or give advice to someone for something that you've never done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so same as me. Like, not being a non-traditional student is hard, and people are always gonna have opinions. But those opinions were motivation, right? And it was motivation up until a point where it was like, at the end of the day, I was doing things for people to prove people wrong. But in the reality of it, when I got this last degree, I was like, yo, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me because I done proved y'all wrong. I proved you wrong in the first degree. First of all, I proved y'all wrong when I graduated high school. Right? I proved you wrong when I graduated high school because y'all didn't think I was making it out. Shoot, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't think I was making it out. I didn't think I was making it out, man.
No, that's crazy.
I
got like the same story.
Yeah, like I cut school a lot, man. I'm telling you, I remember sitting on I used to, all my cousins, we was all around the same age, and me and one of my cousins actually went to school together. And I was on some business where I'm like, all right, I don't want to go to school. And it was this law in New York, like, after 16, you can't force your kid to go to school type of vibe, right? And so that was a thing. I don't know if it was a law, right? But it was a thing. Like before 16, they could send like the child services to your house.
Yeah.
Right? But after 16, they can't force you to go to school. So, and when I turned 16 years old, I promise y'all, I was waiting. Then I turned 16. And I used to cut school with my friends all the time. But then I was like, you know what? I got something better for y'all. When I turned 16, I ain't got to come here no more. And when I did, when I turned 16, I remember sitting on my cousin's couch, and my aunt kept calling. She kept calling. And finally, I picked up, I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't understand why you're not going to school, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if somebody had called back my house or something, told my mom something. I don't know. But I remember I sat on the couch and I cried, and I said, I'm 16. You can't force me to go to school no more. I don't have to do this. I don't have to go to school. You cannot force me to go to school. And she was just like, this ain't the way, blah, blah, blah. And she was giving me this long story. Again, in my head, I'm like, I hear you, but I don't hear you. Right? So I didn't think I was going to make it out of high school. I did. But that's because I had my friends around me that was like, nah, we're going to get this done. They like, yo, we're going to sit down, we're going to do this, we're going to get this done for you. We're going to make sure you get out of here, right? And then I didn't want to see all my other friends graduating and I ain't graduating. Like, nah. So I'm like, all right, I got to get something together. 3 of my friends had to switch out schools. And these was 3 of my main ones that I was with every day.
Damn.
They had to switch. Their parents took them out because they like, you gonna graduate. Right. Right? And so I ended up graduating. But I ended up not being able to walk with my class because my behavior wasn't that great.
Not true.
They was like,
not true.
They was like, you didn't walk in. You ain't even, nah. So I ended up walking with the class. I graduated. Should I be putting my graduation year out here on this podcast? So I couldn't graduate. I couldn't walk with my class, but I walked with the next year's class. But I did graduate on time. I just couldn't walk. Right?
I remember that actually.
Huh?
I said I don't remember that.
Yeah, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk with my class. But that happened, and then I ended up going to school. I ended up going to a community college. And I went because my friends was going. And then I ended up in a remedial math class. I ended up in a remedial math class because my friend, during the intake test, my friend came knocking on the door like we back in high school, like, yo, you ready? And here I go, like, yeah. I done finished the first half of the test, but I got rid of the other half. And then they put me in remedial math. And when they put me in remedial math, I'm like, oh, why am I here? And they was like, oh, well, you don't have to take the second part of the remedial math because you only failed 1/2 of the intake test. And that was the part that I failed because I just scribbled in anything because I was leaving with my friends. And that was a lesson for me, right? Because now I'm stuck in this remedial class where I already know all this stuff. So I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money, because what? I wanted to run behind my friends, right? And then when I graduated there, I'm like, dang, I want to do it again. And I went, proved them wrong again, came down to Clark. I got accepted to Clark, and I didn't go the first semester I got accepted. I was just like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to jump out there and just go. And then I was like, forget it. My friend said something to me. He was like, you ain't gonna go. You chasing behind that girl. And I was like, you think I would put my whole life on hold for a girl? That's crazy. And they had just talked about that at my community college graduation about not chasing people to not follow your dreams. And I was just like, you know what? I'm out. And I started the next semester, and it's been great ever since. I ain't gonna lie.
Look, you see how everything
and to turn into a professor is kind of crazy.
We got Professor King over here.
That's kind of crazy. For a person who didn't even want to go back who didn't even want to finish high school, and here I am.
But they need people like you. They need people like you who are relatable. Okay, because there's a lot of students who got that story. There's a lot of students who's only in college because their parents told them they had to go, or they had to get out. Or
Parents didn't even tell me I had to go.
but there's students who don't even know what they're in college for. They're just there in a major that they are in just because someone told them. And so to hear your story, to have a professor like you that can understand, that can relate to them, it makes a difference. What I love about Clark is that most of the professors are relatable in one way or another. Everybody knows you by name. You don't go on a promenade and the professor don't walk past and not know you by name. And that's something you don't get at every school. When I went to Monroe in the Bronx, I can't remember them professors, and I know they don't remember me. I was just a student, you know? And so it's beautiful that it has come 360 for you to be that person who was cutting class, running around, doing what you was doing, have friends that were good friends, that were pushing you like, yo, we gonna get this done. You gonna graduate too. We gonna make this happen, you know. And then to turn around and come to Clark, get your bachelor's and your master's, and become a professor. That's a whole her book is coming out. Make sure y'all follow.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I really wrote the outline for a book, and I don't know. I wrote the outline, and I'm nervous about even putting it out. Or even finishing it.
People need to hear it. People need to hear it. I don't know what you're going to name it, but people need to hear it. When I was in school, I wasn't one of the people who liked to cut class, but I used to have people who used to want to get me to cut class. I cut class one time.
They need to get me cut. Catch me in hallways.
Oh no, they asked me to cut class. I cut class, and we had Kmart back then up in White Plains. And we in Kmart, and I seen a neighbor. You know, back in the day, you seen your neighbor that was like seeing your parent, because they was liable to beat you like you was theirs. And show was gonna go back and tell.
I can't relate. It wasn't nobody gonna beat me. No, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't doing that.
You was fortunate. I was scared to death, hiding from this lady. Didn't want her to see me, so she don't go tell my parent that she seen me. And so that fear that I lived in for hours, wondering if that lady was still in the store, wanting to leave the store and not know if we was going to run into her in the parking lot. And just, I couldn't wait for the day to be over so we could leave and be outside normally like the rest of the kids who got out of school and not feel like I was caught. And I didn't want to cut school after that no more. The fear of my parents finding out could have meant death for me. So I didn't want to ever cut school again, but I was always a school person. I love school. It's just, it took me this long to get where I was through a series of unfortunate events. And I'm just grateful that I was able to overcome those challenges. That book is definitely going to come out. But a lot of people don't know why it took me so long to get back to school. It wasn't because I didn't want to go. It wasn't because I didn't try. It was taken out of my hands, and it was nothing I could do about it. My opportunities was literally snatched from me. But it's definitely going to come out in the book, so y'all stay tuned for that. You know, that biopic is coming.
No, that's crazy. I was talking about that the other day.
I like that.
Man, Shalia got me thinking hard about a documentary. I've always thought of one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
To put my life on the forefront is kind of, a lot of people won't be
But
mad.
some people need to see that, because you got some people with the
Man, I got a lot of
story as you.
I put my life on the camera, man. Somebody gonna be mad.
A whole lot of people going to be pissed.
A lot of people gonna be mad.
If you wasn't
It's your
mad,
story.
it's your truth. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if they mad about how they act,
They gotta deal with it, not
exactly.
you. That's
Exactly.
something they gotta deal with.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, for real though.
Yeah.
You got a story to tell that people can draw strength from,
Yeah.
encouragement from, and motivation from. And you know, you really don't know how many students in your classes are just touched by seeing someone they feel they can relate to.
Yeah, it'll motivate them to keep going. Because you got some people that can't fit in the same shoes as you and that would just give up because they feel like, okay, this is it, I can't do it no more. And just by you telling your story, it'll motivate them to just keep going instead of stopping and feeling like there's no hope. Like, you can give them hope. So.
That goes back to like even yesterday's conversation. I'm telling y'all, everything comes full circle, y'all. For real. Because we talked about yesterday, or I don't know if y'all remember the conversation where I'm telling, like, you know, there's these things where people feel like the people on campus, like, you know, there's a big difference between them and the students. And they see me and it's like, well, you're dressed like this, and it's just like, I don't have to be suited up. I don't have to have a suit and tie on for me to get my message across. I don't have to be there and be what you are to reach these students. I can reach these students in, you know, any type of way that I choose, right? But again, like, everybody gonna have their own thing, and I just gotta keep doing it my own way.
What you doing is working. I'm
Yeah.
super proud of
Doing
you.
my own way.
And
Blessed
keep
to
putting
have
it out there. Keep blessing others.
Please.
Like, keep doing it. That's your
Please.
calling.
It was not by coincidence that me and King got together, y'all. I'm telling
It is
y'all.
not. It's
It was
not.
Nothing
not a
happens by
coincidence.
coincidence. Everything
It was
is, you know, everything happens the way it happens at the time that it happens.
Even for me and her relationship, like, it was destined to happen. For sure.
Rock
Because
steady.
at first she was telling
we was
this one not to. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That's another story for another day. Man, B had me lit up the wrong punch. B was like, nah, she walked in the spot like, yeah, let's go.
That was just like, I don't deal with it. It's cool, but no. I was like, no, girl, come on. We been have a good time. We been enjoy this moment. It is what it is.
Right.
Let's get it. And ever since then,
Yo, you know what's crazy? But no, hold on. On some real stuff, like, even going back to that, like, you see how you was like, I told this one not to, you know?
Yeah.
Would we have been in this same space if she had listened to me? Would this
That's what I'm saying.
Would
No.
this team have been the team that it is right now if she had listened to me?
No.
And
Because you would have known nothing
but
about
I'm
the podcast.
glad she, you know what I'm saying, had a mind of her own. See, me, sometimes when my friends say things, I'm gonna take that back. Never mind.
That's another
That's
conversation.
another conversation. But not for this podcast. But yeah, man.
Everything happens.
Everything
It
happens.
does. When I say Sasha, it does. It is.
I believe this was all written already. I'm a
Because
strong
it just
believer in
happened just
faith
beautifully.
faith is real. Like anything. I might have tripped over a bag when I got up this morning. I tripped over that bag for a reason.
Yeah.
I might not have seen it. It might have hurt me in whatever way it hurt me.
But it took a second or a minute off
Whatever
stopping you.
Yep.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever it
I
was.
say that all the time, even when I'm late for things or even when something is holding me back, I be telling Shalia a lot, like, it's a reason, like, don't be mad because you late.
But emotion,
Timing
again,
is
as
always
a human, we're emotional.
Mhm.
So in the moment, things frustrate us so bad. Like I know when I have it in my mind, I have tunnel vision. So when I need to get something done, and it's not going the way that I need it to go right then and there, I feel like everything is thrown off track, and it mentally makes me emotional. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just the human part of me. But in the reality of it, when I calm down and my emotions are not as high, I know that whatever happened the way that it happened at the time that it
In
happened.
situations like this, they're just teaching you faith. That's all it is.
That's
It's just
exactly what it
teaching
is.
you faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real. That's right.
Sasha, we gotta dig more into that real estate part. You know, maybe not today. No, for real.
You gotta do a part two.
You gotta do a part two because there's a lot of stuff in real estate that I know for me, like even just that you gave us today is like, I would have never
in a million years thought of that. I don't even know nobody that's doing that. I don't know.
She could really make that.
You can make that a class.
I mean, I've been pushing it, but
you don't have to just do it in Atlanta. Like,
yeah,
you want to go to
cities.
all of the small cities and go to those areas, and you can be the realtor that focuses on like that could be your thing. That could be your niche on the internet. Like this person right here helps people create generational wealth through student housing.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Even you can do it for like a low income type of family, but they have enough wealth to take care, like what do I want to say? They have enough money to fund their living stability, if that makes sense. Like you can start with something like this.
What if you started something like with crowdfunding, right? Where you got people who want to invest in real estate, but they don't have
that's
the means,
basically
right?
it.
And you do a crowdfunding type of thing, and you have your business, right?
Edwards Estates Consulting.
There we go.
LLC.
I heard it.
Say that loud. Say that again.
Estates Consulting LLC.
All right. So I know, but for you got Edwards Estate Consulting LLC, right? And so what if you took that and then like, all right, we're gonna start a real estate crowd fund, right? And you go and you purchase a building, right? And you give all of the people who put money in a small percentage in that business.
So
what do you feel about that?
So Jay Morrison and Ernestine Morrison did this back in.
Yeah, I actually put into that fund, but that fund was
because I wanted to put into the fund and I didn't get a chance to, and I heard many things.
There's a lot of speculation, but see again, that's people who get money hungry,
right? Because he explained that dividends are paid out at a certain time of the year.
They are,
and that they were wanting it before it was predetermined to be given out. But also, I seen that they had to pivot with the Legacy Center. I seen at first it was supposed to be a place for like business or entrepreneurship when they bought that building and turned it into the Black House. And then it's more like now content space and a event venue type of space.
I have no idea what it is. I've never been there. I don't have plans to go there. And so I did put my money in.
Okay.
I think.
What was your experience?
I think 10 shares was like $500.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. I did this 10 shares for $500. But now there is something going around, and I don't know this. I don't know the truth to it, but there's something going around saying that basically he was buying his own personal property with the money, and that it was a big thing. I have the emails. I don't know to what extent it's true. He basically doubled back the next day and was like, I heard it's an email going around. We can have a meeting, this, that, and third. But there's still money that's not showing where it's accounted for. So again, I don't know. And I don't want to speak on something that I don't know because I don't like to put things out there in the air. I will say that I did get an email saying that the money is not being properly used the way that it's supposed to. If there was a way for me to pull my money, I probably would.
Okay.
But right now, it's water under the bridge for me because the money's gone. It's out of my account. I haven't seen the money in years. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, that was back 2018.
I'll make the money back, right? And so I'm not really worried. I have money in stocks. I have money. All of it is a gamble. When you put money and you invest your money in anything, it's a gamble. And like, I don't want to speak on something that I don't know the facts. But I feel like something like that will benefit you. But as long as you're doing right by people.
And I feel like when it comes to those types of things, I would need to educate myself more on the laws regarding that, because there was a time where people don't understand where black people could not crowdfund. All the rest of the races could, but we couldn't. So when you look at crowdfunding is in front of your face every day and people just don't know about it. When you go to the cleaners, those are usually 2 or 3 families who crowdfund their money to open that cleaners. The beauty supply, 2 or 3 families who crowdfund.
But that's nothing wrong with that. That's just like what we were talking about
No,
earlier.
it was against the law for us at one point until Barack Obama got into office and he changed it, and that's when Jay Morrison and Ernestine Morrison came up with the crowdfunding for the Tulsa, Oklahoma phone. It was not something that black people were allowed to do.
I didn't know it was actually against the law
Yeah,
for black people.
Yeah.
I think in 2018, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, I feel like that's
Obama
still...
was in office.
Okay, what year was Obama in office?
2008.
Okay, even in 2007, 2006, 2005, I thought racism was over. So
No.
to say that is kind of crazy.
No, racism wasn't over because
I mean, segregation, all of that's crazy. That's
no, it's not, because even after 2008, there were an investigation happening with realtors where they went undercover, and certain realtors were what was called steering individuals into specific neighborhoods, keeping neighborhoods segregated. So it was never over; it was just blanketed. With different words and packaged differently on media.
Going against the law, like you staring people is one thing, because that's manipulation.
That's against the law.
We manipulate each other every day in some way.
Steering in real estate is against the law. It is against the law to steer people in real estate. That is a crime. You can be fined.
What I'm saying is, there's a lot of things that are against the law that we shouldn't be doing that we do, right?
Right.
And that's a form of manipulation in a sense,
right?
Because they're not forcing these people, but they're steering them away from it, which is still the same thing, but it's manipulation,
right?
But to say if a black person crowdfunds, you're breaking the law only in the black community is crazy.
I agree, that is crazy, and I don't have all the exact facts when it comes to these subjects.
Okay, so
I like to have exactly the section, the code, what year it was written, who put it in the office, when was the amendment. I've done this research for my own self, but I don't have all of this saved in my phone or my device to pull it out for you right now. I say if you're watching this, go and look it up. Prior to Barack Obama being in office, there were, if it wasn't exactly against the law, there was red tape involved, keeping people, black people specifically, from crowdfunding. Just think about all of the plazas that was empty, and all of a sudden they became Korean plazas down Pleasant Hill Road. Think about how Jimmy Carter became all
back in that time.
What year you got here?
I got here in 2015, the end of 2015.
Prior to, so between 97 and maybe 2003, Jimmy Carter used to be all American owned businesses. And by 2003 up to 2007, Jimmy Carter became predominantly Hispanic owned businesses.
So, hold on.
And they don't use our banking system.
Okay, well, that was what year?
Between 2003 to like 2007.
Now I'm going to read you something. And I want you to tell me your thoughts, because I thought this was very interesting when I got this email. There was an email that I got, and I want to read it because I actually want you to read it so that you can see that it's crazy. Oh man. But it was an email. Let me see.
That's what I'm saying. We're going to have to start putting batteries in.
Dang, where's this email at? I want y'all.
While she's looking for that email, let me just say that since I've been on this real estate journey, sometimes people support you after they see that you're successful.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to support you when you first starting. They don't want to support you when you're coming up. But after they see that you've been successful, that other people have supported you, that you have great reviews, then they want to support you.
Mm-hmm.
And so to the millionaire who had said to me, you know, why don't you take off a semester or drop down to part-time? I don't see anything that you got going on that $250,000 couldn't fix if you just sell some more houses. And once he got to see my work ethic, as you said, then he was on board to support me in what I was doing. But he said what he said because he didn't support my work ethic. He didn't know my work ethic when he said what he said, but he retracted the statement once he seen what my work ethic was and once he understood it. You know, again, there are people who do have teams. If you're a couple, married or not married, but you got a significant other, and they support you in your dreams and what you do, however that looks like. Some people don't have just that much support, and people take that for granted and think having a significant other is not a big deal that supports you, and it is. It's a huge deal. Because that person is making sure that whatever you need to accommodate you to keep going, you have. And I had to explain to that person that I don't have that. I don't have somebody who is going to hold me down whether I sell a house or I don't sell a house. So I have to make sure all my angles are covered. I gotta make sure my education is top tier. I gotta make sure my network is top tier. I gotta make sure everything that I'm doing is connected and moving, and I gotta have multiple streams of income because there is no backup plan. I'm the backup plan.
I am the backup.
That's right.
That's me. I'm the plan A and the plan B. Now we gotta get the plan C. We in trouble.
Well, we're gonna keep it at A and B.
But hold on. Okay, so you said what year was the
It
whole
was around
black
like
thing?
No, I was talking about Jimmy Carter changing from American businesses to Hispanic-owned businesses.
Okay, now I want you to
through
read this.
crowdfunding.
I want you to read this out loud. I want you to read it out
I
loud.
heard you.
Oh,
You want me to be stuttering on camera?
no.
Okay. So it says the highest percentage of black-owned businesses in the nation.
In the nation,
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta has the
That's now.
highest percentage of black-owned businesses in the nation. Okay,
Now.
go ahead.
Okay. According to a financial platform, Lending Tree, it has 8,663 black-owned businesses, or 7.4% of the city's total companies. Despite this density, a study from Atlanta Fed that surveyed 15,000 small businesses in Georgia found that 93% of black-owned firms saw financial challenges in 2021. Plus, amid high interest rates, getting approved for a loan is more difficult than at any point since the Great Recession. The impact is even more pronounced on Black and Latino borrowers who typically pay higher interest rates on their loans.
Now, highest percentage of black-owned businesses in the nation.
Now.
We're not just talking. Yeah, now. It regardless to what I'm saying is, you said they changed from Black American-owned businesses
Not
to
Black American.
okay, American-owned businesses, but right now in current day, 2023. Atlanta has the highest percentage of black-owned businesses in the nation.
Yeah,
That's a statement.
it is.
That's a statement, right? And so I feel like, although there's a lot of times where they shit on us, right? For a lack of better term, like they shit on us, and they make it hard for us. But do you see how we're prevailing?
But again, this goes back to what I was saying. Prior to Barack Obama was in office, if you look previous to 2008 and compare the numbers, 2008 did not have the highest number
I'm not
of
saying it
black-owned
did.
business. No, I know you're not saying that. I'm going back to what I was saying. I'm saying that the reason why there's an increase in black entrepreneurship is because of the rules that was changed when he got in office to allow people to crowdfund. Once black people were also allowed to crowdfund, that allowed us to put our monies together without getting in trouble through the IRS or any other overseeing powers and banks to be able to get loans. There's a lot of stuff called redlining, and as you see in the article, it said that blacks and Latinos still pay higher interest rates. There was a lot of redlining going on that even though black people had the money to go and get the building, the bank would say no just because they were black. And although it wasn't written in law, we're not going to give it to them because they're black. They were doing it anyway. And so, yeah, the COVID happened, the pandemic happened, and when the pandemic happened, crowdfunding took a whole new tone. You started to have groups of people putting in 100 together. You started having people put in 1,000 together. You started having real big high players putting in 10,000 together and saying, all right, we're going to open up this business, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because everything was online. And crowdfunding kind of took a whole new twist and a whole new turn, so where groups of people started putting their money together and opening up these businesses. So yes, the numbers have increased, but there is a valid reason that you can go and research as to why black people haven't had a high number. Because prior to segregation, black people had a higher number of businesses during Black Wall Street, during Seneca Village. If you go back and look, black people always been entrepreneurs and we always had businesses. But what stopped us from being successful and having our own businesses? It became an issue that caused us death, caused us to lose everything. Following back to Jay and Ernestine Morrison, they tried to go and buy back Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they wouldn't sell it to them. All of the money that they had collected, they did a video where they went into a boardroom and they went to go try to buy back the land that was massacred in the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots. And they would not, they refused, even though they had the money, they refused to sell that land, which did not belong to them anymore, which actually belonged to the inhabitants, to the descendants of the people who were murdered that owned that land. They refused to sell it to them. They don't want it revived. They don't want to see black wealth happen in Tulsa, Oklahoma ever again. So there are powers that be that make it difficult, but we still prevail regardless.
Okay. We gonna stop it right there because I feel like this conversation can go on forever, and I don't want. We definitely gonna revisit it though.
I got you.
We definitely gonna revisit it. But until next time, it was great. It was great.
I appreciate you for having me.
For sure. And we got here again because we gonna finish. Cause now we going back, right? Mm-hmm. And I love when people want to go back because now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my homework.
Okay.
So when I come back for you,
I got you.
We're gonna pull this out like the great debate.
I got you.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm ready for you.
But
I'm gonna make sure I have all my facts lined up.
We appreciate you coming through, Sasha the realtor.
Shout out to Chef B. Shout out to our camera person.
100%.
Shout out to Professor King in the building.
The Professor King sends me every time.
Yes.
But again, today's brunch was sponsored by Miss B. Again, on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Cooking with Miss B. What did we have today? We had smothered turkey Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes, and that wasn't the box kind. So stop playing with it.
Yeah, that was
not the box kind. Yeah, I'm saying that was not the box kind. We did not have the Hungry Jack. No, we did not.
Nope.
And then we had some string beans.
And those were fresh string beans.
Fresh. Not the canned joints. Not the canned joints.
Okay.
Y'all seen how long they were, so you know they.
That was real.
Nah, man, listen. Alright, but what's great at all as always behind the lens. But
Sasha _ the realtor on all platforms.
There we go. She ain't even let me get it out. She ain't even let me get it out. As for me, who but me? Who but me?
Nobody but you, Professor King.
Who but me? You know what I mean? But nah, it's always great. It's always great. I got it, man.
My pleasure.
It's crazy. And that's a wrap, y'all.
That's a wrap.